guess on a similar note, I was going to ask what the hardest day-to-day part of being a kayaker is. You know, I mean, if it was the training, or you know, the diet, or you know, maybe being constantly worried about having chicken legs because all the emphasis is on upper body strength. Like, hey, sorry, mate. Hold on one sec. That's unfortunate. My shopping was arriving, and it was meant to be in this window, and it's late, and I was like, I knew he was going to be late in the middle of the interview. So Patrick cuts up the video, so I guess he's going to be cutting this one up.
That's
so
right.
What's that? About 10 minutes in. That's cool. Well, that's cool. I could hear him outside, and I was like, I'm not letting go of this question until I'm not going to turn and acknowledge him until. So that's cool. That's that you finished that one. So welcome to the 10 before 10 show.
No, thank you so much for having me.
No worries at all. That was a great workout on 10 before 10 this morning. Now we've obviously had lots of different athletes in over the weeks and months doing different body parts. And we've had some decent ab sessions, especially with some of the divers. But I think that was the biggest ab session we've ever had with you this morning.
Yeah, the paddling core strength is next level.
Yeah.
So I thought I'd give you a bit of a taste.
Yeah, well, we got a taste of it. I don't know how I'm going to be feeling in the morning, but yeah, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. So now, so you started kayaking, I think, when you were 15. What was it about kayaking that drew you to the sport?
Well, it was a natural fit. I started in surf lifesaving, which has the surf ski element, and I was really desperate to find like an Olympic sport that I could try and see how far I could get in. So that was the main draw card. But I knew a lot of people at the kayak club in Auckland, and they also encouraged me to get there. So yeah, it was just quite a natural fit. I love the water. I love being outside. So it's a very technical sport. So I like all those elements about it.
Yeah, cool. So I mean, I didn't know this before, but apparently New Zealand's actually got quite a strong history of kayaking. I mean, you had Sir Ian Ferguson was one, and a few others. How much was that part of the attraction of taking up the sport for you, like the history of it?
Yeah, there was a really good group of guys in the 80s, but I actually didn't know too much about them until I actually got into the sport. What really drew me was Lisa Carrington, who's our most recent star. I remember watching her win gold in London in 2012, and I joined a few years later. So she actually, just by chance, was actually training at the same lake in Auckland as me. So that was really cool to know that someone really local in the same neighborhood was beating the rest of the world. So that was a huge draw, because they just showed me that the pathway was there and that Kiwis can do it. So that was really cool.
Yeah, cool. Now, I'm assuming you're only focusing on kayaking now. So at one point you were looking at surf lifesaving, you're looking at kayaking, and you're thinking, like, I just got to focus on one of these. Was that a tough decision, or it was just like, no, I want to go with this Olympic sport and that's it?
Yeah, it was pretty tough. I actually still do a bit of surf lifesaving. I still go to the national champs every year. So I'm still heavily involved in the surf club, and I still do a bit of lifeguarding as well. So I still try to keep most of my contacts. Luckily, it's quite similar. A lot of the kayakers have actually come from a surf background, so there's a lot of crossover, which makes it easy. But it was tough at the start. I was trying to do kayaking in the morning and surf lifesaving in the afternoons, and then eventually it just got a little bit too much, and I had to just pick one or the other. So I chose kayaking was where I was getting better results, and kayaking is also where you can get a bit more consistent results, because in surf lifesaving there's obviously a lot more elements like the waves, and you can be by far the fastest paddler, but you might come last because you get hit by a wave that someone else misses, or you might not catch a wave. So I had a few bad competitions where I just got really unlucky, and that really put me off for a while.
Hey, sorry mate, hold on one sec. Okay, thank you very much. That's unfortunate. My shopping was arriving, And it was meant to be in this window and it's light, and I was like, I knew he was going to be late in the middle of the interview. So Patrick cuts up the video, so I guess he's going to be cutting this one up.
That's
So
right.
what's that? About 10 minutes in. That's cool. Well, that's cool. I could hear him outside, and I was like, I'm not letting go of this question until I'm not going to turn and acknowledge him until. So that's cool. That's that you finished that one. So cool. All right. So you're now a member of the New Zealand Elite Sprint kayaking team, and from what I've heard, you're one of New Zealand's best chances for a medal at the Olympic Games. Can you take us through some of your career highlights so far?
Well, hopefully an Olympic medal chance probably in the next games, so probably in a good 4 or even the one after that. Still got a little way to go for Olympic medals, but Junior Worlds in 2016, that was my first major championships, which was more of a learning experience. But I'd say the career highlights so far is probably winning the Oceania title in the K1 200 meters.
Was that last year?
Special. Yeah, that was beginning of last year, and that was really cool because that was my first big Oceania championships where I was elite, and it was really cool to see how far I'd come since the junior ranks. I raced in Adelaide in 2016, and I was maybe just scraping into top 5 there. So it was cool to see how much progress I made in the 4 years.
So you were scraping top 5 in the juniors back then? Yeah.
And in 2016. So yeah, it's been a big 4 years of just full-time training, just dedicating everything towards it.
Yeah. So were you actually named had New Zealand announced a kayak team for this year's Olympics?
No, we'd actually just completed the trials when we went into lockdown. So we actually never got to naming the team. They decided to just can naming all the teams from that point onwards.
Yeah.
And it's highly likely that we're now going to have to do another retrial at the beginning of next year. So
yeah,
our team has qualified 2 spots for the Olympic Games, which we get to keep now. But yeah, we haven't finalised who gets the spots yet.
And how did you go in the trials? Were you looking pretty good this year?
Yeah, pretty well. You never know. We never get the data from the trials.
Oh, right. Okay, that's different.
Yeah, and it's a lot of time trials and stuff like that. So it's pretty hard, and everyone in our team is extremely close, and it's extremely competitive. So yeah, you just never really know. You always have a few sleepless nights when you're waiting for all the selections for all the teams.
Well, I suppose, I mean, that's good and bad, isn't it? Because, like, you know, if you knew that you were definitely going and then they say, oh, no, we're not doing it this year, you'd be like, oh, no. But if you don't really know, then you know, it's hard to get as, you know, annoyed, I guess, or frustrated.
Yeah, it's really difficult. There's a lot of athletes, I guess, in the same position, but
yeah, of course.
For most of the boys in our team, we're really young, so we're in a pretty good spot that, like, whoever does get to go is likely to go, you know, maybe multiple times. So we're not at the end of our careers just waiting to retire, which is pretty fortunate.
Yeah, definitely. And it's great that you get to do all that together as well as a group, you know. So, and you've got specialist disciplines that you do personally within kayaking?
Yeah, as a group, we focus on mainly the 500 meters and the 1,000 meters. That's where all of the crew boat disciplines are at the Olympics. But yeah, at the moment, every single Olympic Games, they're changing the program so quickly. They want to make it a lot more exciting. So, you know, previously 1,000 meters was the main disciplines, but the Olympic Committee are moving towards more 200 meters and 500 meters because that's what people want to watch. They don't really want to sit down for 4 minutes and watch a race that's 1,000 meters long. They want to see a really tight race that's maybe 200 meters or 500 meters. So yeah, for me, it's mostly around somewhere in the middle, about 500 meters.
Right, yeah.
Although some of my best results have come in the 200 meters. So yeah, I'm hoping that the Olympic program is shifting to the shorter distances because I like those.
Yeah, it's like the 2020 of kayak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Now, with the highs, unfortunately, come the lows. So, what's been your biggest low so far, and how did you actually deal with that?
For me, it was actually almost a year ago to the day when I had compartment surgery. So I had like these big cuts on like both sides of my arms,
Right.
on both arms. So basically the whole of 2018, I was really struggling with pain in my forearms and my hands, and I lost grip, and basically I got diagnosed after seeing many physios with compartment syndrome. So basically your muscles swell bigger than the sheath around them, and it basically just blocks all the oxygen and nutrients from getting in and out. So
You were just getting too huge.
you're probably too much gym too early.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically your arms just go rock hard, and you can't really grip, and you can't feel anything, and it's really painful. So yeah, I had to make the call if I wanted to have surgery or not, and whether I did it, a year ago, or whether I waited until now. And I decided to just get it done, get it over and done with, and that was definitely my biggest low. It was about 3 months out of full-time training, which I'd never experienced anything like that before. So I was away from the team, and I was really weak. I couldn't even do a handstand, or couldn't even do a pull-up or anything like that. And it just really screws around with your head. And when I did eventually get back to training, just so unfit, and that was really, really difficult to come back from, because I just never experienced anything like that before. Everything had been pretty smooth up until that point.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really happy I did it. It's given me symptom free now for a whole year, so it's definitely worked, and it's now not the restricting factor for my racing anymore, which is really cool.
Yeah, cool. And also teaches you a bit about yourself, about overcoming adversity, I guess, as well.
Yeah, it definitely helped a lot when we went into lockdown, because obviously we had to basically become full-time cyclists within a week, because we weren't allowed to get on the water. So it helped that I knew as soon as lockdown was announced that I could already preempt what I was going to be feeling, the kind of emotions I was going to be going through, and also I knew that it was going to be fine for me to like come back. And if I could come back from the surgery, then it would be fine to come back after lockdown. And I just knew exactly what I had to do to maintain my fitness and strength, and
yeah,
I knew that everything would be fine.
And I guess you've also got that added benefit of knowing that everybody's in the same boat, pardon the pun, like they're all going through it together, And so what was it? So basically that was the recommendation as far as training goes. It was like, everyone get on the bike, and that was it.
Yeah, well, it was an option, a run or a bike, and
Yeah.
most of us chose the bike.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was, we just, you have to keep going. Like the rest of the world is not gonna wait. So
No.
we just had to make sure that we just kept our fitness up and just got through it as best as we can. Because obviously otherwise, if you don't get through it, then the rest of the world just keeps getting better and leaves you behind.
Yeah. So I guess on a similar note, I was going to ask what the hardest day-to-day part of being a kayaker is. If it was the training, or the diet, or maybe being constantly worried about having chicken legs because all the emphasis is on upper body strength. Like.
Yeah. The hardest part is definitely the training, and just, well, at the start it was just getting up early in the morning. It took me about a year to get used to training early in the morning. You kind of get used to it after a couple of years, but for us, it's just the training, like especially maybe the 4 or 5 weeks going into a competition. The training is so hard. You can barely focus at uni or at work, and basically just trying to sleep all the time. We do heaps of lactate sessions, so you're doing like 300 meters as fast as you can go, and then you're doing that 5 times, and you just want to vomit. Like, you've just got so much acid in your body, it just makes you vomit. And and that's definitely the hardest training that we do. And it makes the racing a lot more fun and easy once you've kind of done that kind of training before.
It's like, okay, boys, we've got a couple of sessions of vomit training today. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, and just the headaches that you get is just incredible.
Yeah, right. But I guess my question was sort of like half serious about the chicken legs, because you see kayakers and they've got this awesome upper body, look with the V and all the rest of it. But then you think, oh well, do they do any leg exercises, or if they do they only do them just so they don't look so out of proportion? Like, do you use your legs for anything, or not really?
Yeah, we use our legs more than people think because we are rotating quite a lot, and all the strokes come from the legs. But yeah, we are known for having small legs. So yeah, we don't focus too much on mini leg exercises.
Yeah.
It's mostly all in the upper body. But yeah, it is a problem for kayakers around the world. So yeah, that's why running is not a good option for a lot of us. It's just too high impact.
It's a bit like the opposite, I guess, of cyclists. You see some male cyclists, and there's nothing up top at all,
Yeah, it's exactly the opposite. So yeah, for us to become cyclists just in a matter of a week or so was quite challenging. Yeah, we're definitely not used to that stuff.
Yeah, I bet. And we touched on it before about how you handled the lockdown. Were you able to take any positives from that time period?
Yeah, I was quite lucky actually. My flatmate here is in the New Zealand cycling team, so that was really handy. A lot of the boys were left by themselves, so that would have been a nightmare to try and motivate yourself through that period. But yeah, we managed to get a whole gym together, and we actually managed to get quite a lot of training done. The positives are just the learning and the growth opportunity that we got to realize that it's not the end of the world, and I think as a team we grew quite a lot with our communication, a lot more Zoom calls, and even with friends and family. I actually probably spoke to them a lot more during lockdown than I would in normal life. So I try to keep that going and not let a pandemic be the reason that I start calling all my friends and family. So it was actually a cool opportunity. To be honest, it wasn't too much different from a normal full-time athlete life.
Yeah, right.
We just a lot of the time just train and sleep and do uni, so it wasn't too different from normal life. But yeah, I know a lot of people had it a lot worse.
Yeah. How many weeks were you in lockdown for?
It was around 5 weeks.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean, in compared to the rest of the world, that's actually not too bad.
Yeah, no, exactly. Now, sort of switching gears a little bit, that you've got a lot of great content that goes out on your socials. Can you tell us a bit about how you use Instagram, for example, and other social media, for your personal brand? Is there thinking behind it, or it's just like, oh, I reckon this would be a great shot, I'll get it up there?
Yeah, we get quite a lot of support actually from High Performance Sport New Zealand to make sure that we are kind of constructing our brand. So yeah, there's quite a lot of thought behind it to try and make sure that we're promoting our sport well, promoting New Zealand well, and then obviously promoting ourselves well. So yeah, I do try and use social media to try and create a brand for myself. Like obviously the sponsors love it if you get really cool content out there and show off your sport and show off the country, and obviously try and encourage the juniors and the next generation who are coming through. So yeah, that's the main
focus.
The main focus, behind the brand. So, and obviously, if you have good content that people laugh at, or it's got a good story behind it, then it does a lot better than whether it's just a crap photo.
Yeah, no, for sure. Speaking of good content, I noticed there's a picture of you and Jacinta Ardern on your Insta. So can you give some context around that image?
So I've actually been really lucky and fortunate enough to get the Prime Minister's scholarship the last 3 years. So that's a scholarship that goes out to to like elite athletes who are in the high performance sport program who wish to either do a trade or study while they're competing. Because I think in the past it's been a big problem where they've had lots of full-time athletes potentially like get injured or get a non-selection, and then they're left stuck without anything because they focus so hard on their sport, but you don't realize that it's maybe only a very small portion of your life. So yeah, the Prime Minister's like implemented that scholarship to allow us to study for free. And yeah, fortunately she managed to get to the dinner, the award ceremony. So we all got to meet her there, which is really cool, and got to hear some words of wisdom.
Great. That would have been a great night.
Yeah, it's awesome. They really look after their athletes really well in our high performance sport, and with that scholarship, so we're really lucky.
Yeah, cool. I mean, you mentioned it before. You mentioned, you got great sponsors. I've noticed you've got a great sponsor in Gull. Can you tell us how that relationship came about?
Yeah, so basically, well, my dad's a graphic designer, and he got a tip off that they were looking for someone outside of motorsport. So they're really trying to dedicate more resources into the community that's not including motorsport. So they were actually looking for a surfer, but I managed to get a really strong proposal together, try and encourage them to sponsor a kayaker, which was quite similar, I guess, from their perspective, water sports, like non-motorized, and also like obviously with their motto, fuel your mission, it really helped because we go, all around the country for water sport. So yeah, I managed to put together a really strong proposal that they really liked. I put a lot of time and effort into that, and then yeah, just got a meeting in front of them, and they really liked I guess like my vision and my brand and my goals and my attitude, and yeah, we started really small and beginning of 2016, and yeah, the partnership's just like growing from there, and they've been really influential in like getting me to where I am now. They helped me out a lot, so yeah, big thanks to them.
Yeah, nice work. Now, so your degree is a Bachelor of Science, I believe. What's your plan for that? Once you finish the degree, because I was going to say once you finish kayaking, but you can obviously still, do the job plus kayaking. So what's the grand plan there?
Yeah, so I should hopefully graduate with my Bachelor of Science at the end of next year. And then I'll likely probably keep studying as long as I'm paddling under that scholarship, and hopefully I continue to get it. So ultimately I hope to just maybe go into like geographical information systems or some sort of like environmental monitoring type role, maybe council or government or something like that. So yeah, I'm not quite sure. It's quite a broad degree. And I'm lucky I'm not graduating now because I don't think there's too many jobs for my peers who are graduating right now.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I've still got a couple of years to think about it, but hopefully I'll at least have set myself up with a degree so I can go straight into something after sport.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think that's a pretty good plan. If you're getting the education paid for, and it's all working out for you at the moment, and there's not many jobs that put all of that together, and it sounds like more study is definitely the way to go. Yeah. Okay, we're almost at the end, but just before we wrap it up, I just wanted to ask, if you met some super juniors. I mean, you're not exactly old yourself, but like really young kayakers coming through the ranks, what would be your advice to them?
Just first of all, just make sure you really have fun. That's the main thing. And the other thing is just be patient because, yeah, results take a lot of time and it takes a lot of effort. In my particular sport, it takes a lot of technical focus and fitness, which comes over many years. And yeah, just use any challenges to grow, and don't sulk about any challenges. Just see an opportunity in it.
Let's just go for it.
Yeah.
Nice one.
Our psych always says thrive over survive.
Thrive over survive.
Yeah.
Nice one. Cool. What a great place to end it on. That's fantastic, Ashton. Thanks so much for taking the time and joining us on the 10 before 10 show. And as I said, you're our second Kiwi, and hopefully we'll have plenty more where that came from. So yeah, all the best in your future competition. Unless, of course, you're up against an Aussie.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, nice one. All right, mate. Well, all the best. Take care.
Oh, thank you so much.
Cheers.